This is Iy's revelation about Iy's prophecy about Iy's oracle concerning the destruction of the city of Damascus to Isaiah. Friends, this is the prophecy about the rip in the nations them, and their continual quest to bombard the nation of Assyria, and also the nation of Ukraine with continual bombings, and until they all have being completely being destroyed. And also this is about the rip that is between Ukraine and Russia and NATO. And also about the rip that is between the East and the West, and with their continual fighting against one another, and also in the surrounding countries, until Ukraine and also Assyria have being left in destruction, and until Assyria and Ukraine have being destroyed totally, and until they all have being left in ruins. And this is also about the case of the West to continue their war with the East, and also against Assyria and Lebanon and Palestine, and also this is about the case of the West to subjugate the Arabic people in those nations, especially the nation of Assyria. And also this is about the woes, and the wars with the West. And their quest to continue their fighting in the other nations, and to continue their occupation, and also to continue their war in the nation of Assyria. And also this is about the case of the nation of Israel to continue their plans to subjugate the Palestinian people. And also this is about Iy's fulfillment of the Bible prophecy about the coming destruction of all the cities in Assyria, and the city of Damascus, which is one of the world's oldest city, and this is about the woes from all of these wars. And also about all the woes of the people who are suffering from these wars, and their plight, and also about all the pain, and the woes that these wars have caused. And also all the deaths from the aftermath of these wars, and from the crises, and from the casualties, and from these wars, and from the constant fighting that is raging in all of the nations them that are involved, and this is about the pain and the woes of all the innocent people who are facing all the wars in the East, and the Middle East, and about their families who are being killed innocently in these wars, and also this is about Iy's coming to establish a holy kingdom in Iy's earth. And finally this is about Iy's glorious coming in the end times to put an end to all the wars and the fightings that are in Iy's world. And this is about Iy's prophecy about the fulfillment of the prophecy about the total destruction to the city of Damascus. And also about the abandonment of all these cities, and also about the destruction that's coming to many of the cities that are in the Americas, and also about Iy's payback for all of these wars. And for these woes, and the ravages for all of these wars, and also for the deaths, and the pain, and the woes of Iy's people, and also for the plight of the people of Palestine, and Lebanon, and Gaza. And also for all the woes of Iy's people in the nation of Assyria. And also it is about the woes of the other Arabic-speaking people, and the others who are living in all those other lands, and also for all those people who are now living in the city of Damascus. Thank you. Isaiah chapter 17 verse 1 to 23, Behold, we all shall see Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy. Says Isaiah, I saw Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy. Friends, the nation of Assyria shall be taken away from being a nation, and behold Damascus shall be destroyed, and the city shall become desolate, and also its buildings they shall be in a ruinous heap. And then there would be Iy's payback upon all the cities of Aroer, the lands which are Iy's but which became known to be no man's lands, and which are known today as the modern-day Americas, they too would also be forsaken and become the desolation of war, and then they also would be reserved for all kinds of different creatures, and also for many kind of birds, and also they shall be for a place of rest for many flocks of birds. And for all kinds of birds, and they all shall summer there. And also they shall be left for a resting place for many herds of wild animals, which shall live there, and they all shall lie down in them, and no one shall bother them because no one would be there to make them to be afraid. And then all the wars would cease. And also all the forts, and also all the fortresses which are in Aroer, and Assyria and which were Ephraim's. And they all would come to an end as Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy would return to Iy's earth in the end time. And then all the wars and all the fighting shall cease. And then all those cities which are in the kingdom of Aroer, and all those fell into the possession of Lot. And also which were called the lands of the Americas. And which was once known as no man's land, after the antediluvian flood that wiped out the Nephilims, they too would also suffer because of Iy's payback. And then Assyria shall be taken away from being a nation. And then the city of Damascus shall become desolate, and then it shall be turned into a pile of rubble, and its buildings shall be turned into a ruinous heap. And then the remnant of the people of Assyria, they shall be saved by Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy, when Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy shall return in all of Iy's glory to save Iy's chosen people, even to gather all the chosen descendants of Israel. Thus says Iy, the odd, and whom shall be returning to gather all of Iy's chosen people, and to be their everlasting hosts. And in that day that Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy shall return, it shall come to pass, that Iy's glory will fill Iy's whole earth. And then Iy, whom is the Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy, shall be the only sovereign head in all of Iy's earth. And Iy's coming, and Iy's holy kingdom coming here shall make all the wars in the world to cease, and also all the fighting in the nations them to cease. And also to put an end to all the things of the past, and then Iy's kingdom shall bring in all the prosperity to all of Iy's people. And then all the kingdoms of the people shall come to an end. And the kingdom of Satan shall come to an end, and then Iy's earth shall have rest. But Iy's holy kingdom shall be the only everlasting one, and neither shall Iy's kingdom ever come to an end, nor would Iy's kingdom ever wax old. And Iy's kingdom shall be like when Iy's angels are harvesting Iy's crops, and when they are gathering the souls of man, and also like the harvesting men who are reaping the ears of corn with their arms. And so shall it be in Iy's judgment day, and the day that Iy shall come, and the day that Iy, the odd, shall begin to gather in the souls of men, like the ears of corn which Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy has likened to Iy's judgment day, and also the coming of AWEMAN. In the end time, when Iy shall return to gather in Iy's harvest, and it would also be like in the days of the death of the sons of God who all died in the valley of the giants, and whom were known as the Rephaim. And then when Iy, the odd, shall begin gather in Iy's harvest, then many people shall be like the grapes them that are harvested, because not many of them shall be left on the trees them, as Iy, the odd, shall begin to harvest the fruits, and the souls of everyone who are in Iy's world. Because many shall be like all the fruit that are upon the trees, and also like the fruits that are being shaken off of all Iy's trees, and also Iy's holy kingdom shall be like the fruits that are gathered off of the olive trees, and also like the fruits that are also gathered off of the berry trees, where only 2 or 3 or more berries shall be left upon the trees. And also where 2 or 3 or more shall be left upon the top of the upper branches. My friends, so would Iy's harvest be, like when Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy shall return to Iy's earth to establish Iy's holy kingdom in Iy's world, and then many of Iy's people who are in Iy's world would be shaken, like the fruits that are upon Iy's trees, where 4 or 5 berries would be left. And when Iy shall return to gather Iy's chosen people, when Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy shall return to Iy's earth to establish Iy's holy kingdom in Iy's world, then only Iy's chosen people them shall be spared like those fruits that were left upon the uttermost part of the branches. Therefore so shall it be when Iy, the odd of Israel, shall return to judge Iy's people in Iy's world. Because only Iy's would be saved, because not many people that are left in Iy's world would be spared, and also so shall it be at the coming of Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy, when Iy, the righteous judge, shall judge all the wicked nation them that are fighting against Iy in Iy's world, and also amongst themselves, and also to oppose Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy's return. And this is when Iy shall come and put an end to all those people, and also all the wicked, and also Satan, and also all the nation them that are fighting against Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy, whom is the Holy One. And also all those who are fighting against one another in Iy's world. And in that day Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy shall make every man to look to Iy, and they shall behold Iy, and they shall behold whom is the Holy One, and they shall behold holy Iy, and also Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy whom is the Almighty Iy, and also Father Iy, whom is our Maker. And their eyes shall behold Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy whom is the Sovereign One, and Iy Christ whom is called Holy Iy, and the Holy One whom is also called the Odd, and also AWEMAN. And they all shall bow down and worship Iy, and they all shall show their respect to Iy, whom is the Holy One, and whom is the Sovereign One of heaven, whose name is called Israel. And neither would they worship God Godriel, nor would they worship at the altars of Baal, the Lord whom is also called the Lord God, and also the Lord Yeshua, and whom is also called the Lord, and also Jesus. And neither would they worship the things that were made by their own hands. And neither would they bow down themselves before them to worship them, nor to show respect to them. Nor would they continue to make even those things, which were called machines, and which were made to be human-like, and which had hands and fingers, and which they had made after their own image. And which were like the gods, and which were like the gods that the children of Israel were worshipping in their groves. And to which they have given life to, and also intellect and animation. And in those days all those strong cities they would all become desolate, and a ruinous heap of rubble, and also many of the people would be forsaken, and then they would begin to forsake their towns, and their boroughs. And also all of the people who are living in their uppermost class neighborhoods. They would leave. And also all those who were working in the different branches of government, they would leave because of the wars and also because of all the devastation. And even all the people whom are the descendant of Israel. They all would leave because there were so much destruction. And because they have all forgotten about whom is the Sovereign One. And whom is the Creator, and also whom is the author of our salvation. And besides all of that is the Holy One whom is still concerned about us. And is whom cares about us even though we don't know whom is Elu'hym. And even though we all have forgotten about Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy, and even though we haven't acknowledged whom is the Holy One whom is called Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy, haven't forgotten about us. Because have being mindful of all of us, all this time. Even though we don't know whom is Iy'ELyu'HIYMN'Iy. And shall save many of us, in the end time, and when he shall return to set up his holy kingdom in his earth. Coming closer to the end times. And even though many of us today doesn't realize that is our rock and our strength, therefore the odd shall have pity on us, and he shall save many of us. And his people shall plant pleasant plants. And then they shall sell them, and then they shall deliver them with strange ships, and in that day when we all shall plant our crops and our seeds. Then he shall make all our crops to grow, and in the seeding time shalt make all our crops to flourish, and in the days of harvest, and in the end time we all shall reap a heap of food in the day of harvest. But the wicked they shall reap grief and sorrows. And woe to all the wicked people, and also to the desperate people. And to the multitude of the lost people, because many of them their lives shall be full of sorrows. And woe to all those who are making war against his people. And also all those who are rushing to war. And also all the nation them whose arms and armies are making a rushing noise like the rushing noise of the seas, and also like the sound of the people who are crying from their suffering, and from the woes of war, and from the cries of many people who are being affected by these wars, and who are very poor and needy and desperate, and also like all those people who are lost, and also like the sound of all those people in the nations them that are warmongering, and who are rushing off to do evil in many of the nations them that are in his world. And also like so many of the people whom have lost so many loved ones because of the nation them rushing off to war. And whom are rushing off to war in their machines in the air, and fighting in mid-flight. And whose machine them are making noise like the sound of rushing waters, and like the mighty sound of roaring waters, and like the mighty roaring sound of the mighty rivers of running waters. And also like the loud booming sound of the crashing waves, and like the eerie sound of the run-off of storm waters. Therefore when he shall begin to reign in these nations at his return, then many of the nations them shall begin to fight, and their armies shall begin to rush off to war like the sound of rushing waters, then he shall rebuke them, and then they shall flee afar off, and then they shall become as a chased roe, and then they shall become like the chaff that is blown off of the mountain by the wind, and then they shall be like that rolling thing that is blowing in the wind, and like the noise of their arms which they have made for fighting in the air, and which can rushing off to war and soar in the air, like how his prophecies have said that will occur in the end times. And like the sound of their arms that are causing all destruction, in his world. And also by their machine that can cause the many acts of God, and by the weapons used by these warmongering men. And by the wicked nation them that are using them to kill us all, because they have being deceived by the Satan whom is the God of the Satan. And who has being leading them into war. And to bring about the end time. And also their own end, and even by their own weapons, and even by the weapons of their own making, and even by their own whirlwind. And so shall it be when they shall behold and at ease coming in the evening time, when there shall be much trouble. And then before the morning comes their lives and their livelihoods shall be gone. Because this is ease portion for all those people whom have spoiled us, and this ease lot for them that have robbed us. Thank you. The end.